Do you think the world is fair? Do you believe that everybody in life gets what they deserve? Don't make me laugh! Those are pretty impossible positions to support, but those are basically the ideas that form the foundation for capitalism and the American dream. Neoclassical theory, the philosophical basis for what we call capitalism, says that economic outcomes are determined by human nature. Capitalism is based off a core assumption that the world is inherently fair and that the rewards every person gets back from society are exactly proportional to what they have contributed to society. This means that the rich are rich because they choose to be rich. They work the hardest and make the smartest choices, so they deserve everything they get. By the same token, the poor are poor because they choose to be poor. They too deserve everything they get. The amount of income we earn, orthodox theory tells us, is a direct result of how we choose to spend our time and resources. The amount of wealth everyone possesses comes from the choice we make between income or leisure. The poor choose to be poor because they prefer leisure over income, the theory says. If the poor want to become rich, all they have to do is make smart choices, like rich people, and change their behavior to acquire more income rather than spending all their time laying around. If the poor would simply save and invest, like the rich, they would be rich too. Neoclassical theory tells us that everyone ends up in the best possible economic position according to the choices that they have made. Neoclassical theory was primarily developed by philosophers like Adam Smith and David Ricardo in the late 1700s, before the Industrial Revolution. Still, it's hard to imagine how any person who has lived on Earth could base an entire economic theory on the idea that life is inherently fair. Even in a time of agrarian idleness, it's hard to imagine any ivory tower intellectual like Smith or Ricardo could honestly conclude that the poor are only poor because they are lazy. Full stop. It's simplistic and insulting. Any person who has ever earned a paycheck can tell you that choosing to be rich does not make one rich. In fact, the most important decision any rich person can make is to choose rich parents before they're born. Poor people aren't poor because they are inherently lazy or because they choose to consume and snooze rather than save and invest. Poor people are frequently forced to work harder than anyone else, sometimes at 2 or 3 jobs, because their low wages don't cover all of their expenses. A poor person can't afford food and shelter unless they are constantly working. Most of the time, there's no money left over for saving or investing after paying for life's necessities. The miracle of consumer credit has made it possible for all non-rich to spend more than we make, creating a cycle of debt slavery, where we build up massive piles of personal debt, then work for the duration of our careers trying to pay it back a little bit at a time. Leisure time would be nice, but many of us only get paid when we go to work, which means that leisure time is precious and costly. Those with salaried positions aren't much better off, lucky to get 2 weeks paid vacation. And even then, we're discouraged from using it by a work culture that casts a dim view on any time spent away from one's desk, even if a person is sick. Poverty does not prove that a person is morally inferior. Poverty is only proof that a person lacks money. Is life fair? No. Does it make sense to base an entire economic system off the presumption that life is fair? Hell no. Please give a like, follow, favorite, and subscribe to my free Substack. Let's make them pay.